Hi everybody, this is Christy. I am the Intimate Warrior. I thank you so much for stopping by, and as always, I send you love. I hope you all are doing well. I hope that I hope time is being good to you. I hope that you are seeing through illusions, gaining greater wisdom pertaining to your life and what you want out of it. I hope that you are seeing from love. So here I am. As I have stated in several of my videos, the past few weeks for myself have been, it's been about 3 weeks here. 3 weeks that I have been feeling a little uncertain, yet very certain. And I think I'm going to explain it as me. And this video is labeled The Secret Doorway. The Secret Doorway. And I am going to make a note of that before I forget about it. I made a note of that, so I will remember to label it The Secret Doorway. So I had an idea of what's really been going on with me the past 3 weeks. I mean, a simple way of really explaining it. I have been living my life. I haven't spent too much time on gaining way too much knowledge or just studying. I haven't been studying. I'm still very aware. I'm still very conscious of my choices. I am still very present. I'm still living within the spirit. I'm still living within love. But I'm living my life. I have been from the time that I wake up to the time that I go to bed. Really living life. And I want to go kind of back here for myself, and I want to kind of give you an example of my life. And I'm telling you this, my story, of course, to give you further understanding about where I currently am. And I'm going to incorporate it with this secret doorway. About a month ago, sometime, maybe it was I know maybe at the end of February. I can't really remember the exact date here. I mentioned we were going through lots of changes here within my household. And although it affects everyone within my house, it's also my personal lesson. How it affects every single person becomes a personal lesson for every single individual. The only thing that we can do in our own life, because we can't change another person's perspective or what they think about a situation, is to learn about ourselves. Now, this video is not going to be about the situation or what I'm about to explain here, okay? My mother-in-law has Alzheimer's, but this video is not about her Alzheimer's. I appreciate those who reach out and try to give me information about the disease. I want you to also keep in mind here that I wasn't going to go into this. We do our best in every situation. We can only love another individual. I've done lots of dissecting here. I am her caregiver, my mother-in-law. I care for her. She has been... I've had several... I know of 3 life lessons that have controlled me. 4. My fear of drowning. Another lesson. Maybe it's 3. It is only 3. My mother-in-law. My relationship with my mother-in-law. Yes, I think it's 3 situations here that I knew early on when I began to wake up that those 3 things were going to have to be conquered. I knew that God was going to help heal these areas. Oh, and of course in my marriage. My relationship. No matter the amount of things that I do to provide my mother-in-law with comfort, in assisting her in her memory, her mind, it's still the individual's choice. Even though her mind is being stripped, this is a part of her life plan. I cannot be the one to change her plan. I can only provide her with more love and hope that she sees her own plan and decides on what to do with it. She's in my life to teach me something about myself, a lot about myself. So about a month ago, she's been on hospice care. She graduated out of hospice care due to the reasons that they gave us is that she was not passing quick enough. And their wording was actually even more harsh than that. It was, I went from the moment of being told about that from anger to, okay, I got this. Because it hit hard. It hit suddenly. Anxiety, fear, doubt came in. How are we going to cope with this? What's going to happen? All sorts of ideas came into my awareness. And as I stepped back, I realized this is a fresh of breath air. You know, having all kinds of nurses coming into my household. First, it began with a couple of times a week. Then it went to 3 times a week, 4 times a week, 5 times a week. 2 to 3 different nurses. It got to the point of being overwhelming even for myself. I had to make sure that I set time to be with the nurses on top of doing every single thing. Which meant that I was basically confined. Although I'm still at home, I'm confined, I'm strained, I am chained down to a situation. So then as this shifted to having in-home care, to having nothing, and me now being the one who has to bathe her again, and deal with her anxiety on top of, me having to assist her, which has worked out beautifully, mind you. We've had a few incidences here and there where she gets anxious, but again, our relationship has improved a lot through this. this change that at one time at the beginning I was very terrified of. I saw that as a form of my lesson. A drastic change came upon. So now here I am, this past week here, or this current week, another change in this situation. Now we're being given nurses all over again. Why? Our relationship has improved. Now I'm at a different lesson here. Now we're having even more nurses come into the situation. So about 4 nurses will be coming every single week to help her with her motor skills, her speech and recognition. A regular nurse just for overall checkups, and then a couple of times a week a bather. Of course, I will be doing bathing every other day, any other time other than that. So this has been the drastic change, one of the drastic changes that I have been going through and dealing with, and I know that this is a part of my lessons in improving my relationship with my mother-in-law. And it's definitely something that I have wanted all of my marriage. And so I just wanted to tell you that story, and I'm trying my best to really provide you with information. So I haven't really been focusing, although I am focusing. I am very conscious of how I think and how I feel, regardless of my other duties. I haven't been studying, and you guys know that I haven't really had lots of the divine wisdom coming in pertaining to what I can provide you guys. I have had to really dig deep within myself, hear what can I do. You guys know that I've had an increase in a spiritual gift in the form of the light language. Because I have gotten through, again, what I want to describe as the void. The great void. This is the great time of uncertainty. Getting through that abyss. Getting through that darkness and seeing the light. I've noticed a real change within myself, specifically the last couple of weeks, where I'm looking at people, and this is in forms of people wearing a mask right now. You can be a person who wears a mask because you're afraid of death. You can be a person who wears a mask because you're being told to do it and you're just being obedient. You can be a person who, and of course you're wearing the mask because your fear of death is in relationship to, because you think you're going to die, of course. And it could be because you suffer from chronic illnesses, whatever the true reason is for it, the underlying cause. And then you could be someone who doesn't wear a mask because you're not going to be told what to do. You could be someone who doesn't wear a mask because you don't believe in COVID, period. The reasons why people do it and don't do it are immense. I noticed the other day that I was like, oh gosh, I never thought about this before. when people are wearing a mask. They're asking to be seen. You know, I've gotten to a higher level of compassion, of digging deeper, and a lot of things have been coming into my awareness lately. Why is this happening? Now I'm seeing a different side of everything that I never thought I would ever see from. Greater compassion is being given to a lot of situations, political situations, the COVID situation. And I know that I have hit a doorway, the secret doorway. Of course, because a door has been given to me. The door was open. And I'm talking about the secret doorway to knowledge. There are people who gain access through this door, through the ego. And then there are those who gain access through the door, through a pure spirit. After the doorway was open for me, let me go back to my notes and get that phrasing correct. A man stepped out of a doorway, a darkness, something, stepped down, and he ends up saying that there shall be one law. Wait and see. One law. And my inner guidance already told me, as he was speaking, that the law of one, or the law of love. And it's taken me, let's see, it seems like a week that this was given to me, and it was actually only a couple of days ago. It's taken me till today to understand what's actually going on. Because I have been in the mindset of living my life, enjoying my life the way that it is. I haven't been worried about or thinking about gaining more knowledge. I've just been allowing it to come to me in its due time. The secret doorway can be given to those, again, either way, good or bad. The tree of knowledge of good and evil. There's two ways about this. You can get through by being a good person, or by listening to the ego, by listening to the heart, or listening to the ego. So it's good or bad. And when we are listening to the ego, this again is pertaining to our sexual energy. And when we are using our sexual energy to stay limited, and kind of an example here is, if you have a situation and it makes you angry, or makes you sad, and makes you bitter, makes you hold a grudge, you're using your sexual energy unwisely. You're retaining negative energy, and you're keeping the divine energy, the divine light from rising. Where in time you can see God. Those who use the ego and somehow make it through the secret doorway, I don't even know how that's possible. But all things are possible. They are in turn considered to be those who we categorize as demons, if you will. They are using knowledge for wrongdoing. And therefore teaching knowledge, as here you can make it around this way. You can skip the true way. You can skip the hard, difficult way. In here, I'll tell you how to get there quicker. The straight and narrow path is through the spine, where the energy rises in time by the purification process. The sexual fire purifies you, purifies all of those lower vibrational emotions, rids you of the ego, rids you of the need to be right, rids you of the need to have things, rids you of the things of all those things that go against the soul, those temptations. When you are doing something, is it for a greater reason? When you are doing something, are you doing it out of love? Are you doing it out of loving kindness? Are you doing it to provide assistance? And this goes for the self, mostly, but it also is going to reflect in what you give towards others. I've had a lot of jealousy cleared the past few weeks. I've had a lot of reminding myself that you need to stop, Christy, if you are feeling an emotion. You have a chance to rid yourself of this emotion the past couple of weeks. And again, I'm just now realizing that the other night when I was fighting myself with this inner dialogue and I had to use light language to get myself calmed down, I forgot to realize that I was about to level up and receive something. The gift. The sacred doorway. The sacred doorway is in relationship to the throat. The voice. How God spoke life into existence. I should have known that this gift was being handed to me, or was going to be handed to me. I would soon see a doorway open as I was opening up to light language. It's conquering your fears, getting over your doubts, removing those lower vibrational emotions, purifying yourself. Of impurities. The things that are weighing you down and keeping you bound to, or keeping you chained, keeping you suppressed. When Moses raised the serpent in the wilderness, those who were bitten, when gazed upon the serpent, their eyes were opened, they were cleared. I felt a bite about a week ago. It woke me out of my sleep. And it kept biting me and biting me a few times. I can't precisely tell you how to get there, how to get here, with directions and guidance and specifics. Love is the only thing that I can say. Fighting the need to be angry, fighting those times when you are confused, when you are in doubt, when you don't want to forgive someone, fighting those times and choosing forgiveness, choosing to let go of anger, choosing to let go of regret, choosing to conquer those fears. I had a situation that I'm still dealing with. And someone's name came into my awareness. This individual is very popular, anyway. And I was talking to myself like, well, what's the purpose in reaching out? This person is busy. This person wouldn't give me time of day. But I'm going to still do this because I'm going to reach out. Because the person's name came into my awareness. If I have a doubt about doing it, I'm not trusting in my own inner guidance. I'm seeing from a lower aspect of the self. I'm not trusting, I'm not having faith, I'm not coming from love. So no matter the outcome, I'm going to be doing what I know in my heart is right. Every time we can defeat those types of situations within ourselves, we're getting closer to the secret doorway. The secret doorway is where we finally get back into the Garden of Eden. We get back into alignment of pure bliss. Eden means bliss, peace, harmony. That's where I also saw Adam and Eve sitting close together in unity and harmony. And they were still naked. When Adam and Eve ate from the fruit, they were going from a lower level of consciousness of temptation, where they looked upon themselves and saw shame, because they were choosing to do things that went against themselves, their higher self, the spirit of self. And every time we are choosing a lower experience, a lower vibrational emotion, we are moving further and further and further away from the Garden of Eden. in our perfected state. Therefore, we are never able to witness God. When we fall from Eden, we become separated from the God self, from God itself, from all of creation itself. But when we learn to know every single thing about ourselves, what we truly like, what we don't like to feel, what we don't like to think about, what we don't like to do that goes against ourselves, and not being forced or guilted into doing something, you make your way back to the Garden of Eden. You have to find your sacred doorway. It's straight. It's narrow. It's tight. It can be a little restricting. The path can be very, very long. But Eden is ahead. Sorrow or hell is behind. You choose every day which way you're going, how hard or how easy it's going to be. The quicker you are more aware of every situation and your lesson within it, you can either make it towards Eden a little further or fall back a little. And it doesn't matter how many times you fall back, you always have a chance to move forward. By always choosing love. This is Christy. Much love, health, and healing your way. I am bringing purpose to your life. Take care.